There needs to be an authentic expression of something that I care about, something that has impacted me in a positive way, in order for me to get behind it, to share it, to be an advocate for it, to want others to experience it. And with Best Self, I created a system that helped me do more, achieve more, be more productive, be more positive, create a system to help me get out of my own way. And I wanted to share that.
Spread Great Ideas is meant to increase the signal in a world awash in noise. I'm your curator and host, Brian David Crane, and it is my quest to share the learnings of the world's most interesting people, the disruptors, the outliers, the libertines, and those who've been unconventionally successful so that we can become a little bit wiser together. Please welcome my friend Allen Brouwer. Allen's a father of two, an accomplished entrepreneur, a boat and nature lover, and a wicked combination of both good looking and charming. If you're only listening to this, you need to go check it out on YouTube so you can see what I'm talking about. We're gonna be chatting about an old company of his that he co-founded called BestSelf Co. BestSelf Co was the only business to ever win Shopify's Build a Business and Build a Bigger Business competitions. And we're also going to talk about his new company, which he's also co-founded, called WithLove, that offers a deceptively simple, delicious protein and gut health powder specifically made for kids. We're going to be getting into, dietary behavior, childhood nutrition, some of those topics when it comes to WithLove. So thanks for coming on, Allen. I appreciate you making the time.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Real quick, if you want to just give people the boilerplate intro for what is WithLove, why do you care about this? Why'd you start feeding it to your kids?
Okay, boilerplate intro for WithLove. WithLove is a family wellness company. We primarily focus on kids' nutrition. My children, and we'll focus on parent nutrition later this year, but my children ended up getting sick, and it was a combination of a lot of things. It was a combination of growing up in a split household, so emotional triggers, right? So co-parenting. It was a combination of picky eating. So because my children were such picky eaters, they refused to eat the good stuff. They only wanted the carbs and the sugar and this and that, which was wild because we don't really feed that to them. So it's like, why do you even like this? And then another combination of they ended up getting sick and went on a couple rounds of antibiotics, which just stripped their gut microbiome, all the good bacteria. So it was like a combination of all of these that really put stress on our family unit. And my daughter ended up refusing to eat. She started to develop ADHD type behavior, poor comprehension, insomnia, emotionally deregulation, and I thought it was a developmental thing. So I'm like, okay, she's growing up. How can I read parenting books on like how to support her? And really, what it came down to was it was actually just poor nutrition, poor gut health. And then I was a mad scientist in the kitchen trying to solve this problem. And I created a solution just at home using grown up supplements, grown up probiotics, except like watered down for a 40-pound child. And fast forward to today, we'd now custom developed our own product that has a 3-in-1 protein, probiotic, and multivitamin specifically designed for kids, made from 8 clean whole ingredients. And it gives a solid baseline of nutrition for the child so that the parent can like just take a breath knowing that like, okay, at least you have this done. Now I don't have to beg you, bribe you, battle you for everything else. And it creates more harmony in the home.
Yeah, there's a scene that you talked about in the lead up to the show. I was watching, you described it as you were standing in your kitchen making your smoothie and you were looking at some of these ingredients going like, I should feed this to my kids. How do I get it into, I know all this about microbiome. I know all this about my own health. How do I make it so that this is something that they want to consume? And nowadays that what I remember from your video was they come into your bedroom and say, "Dad, can you make us a smoothie?" That's like the first way they greet you, right?
First thing that they ask for in the morning. It's wild. They don't come into the bedroom anymore. Now they have free reign of the house. So so I'll walk downstairs. They've already been up for maybe like 20 to 30 minutes, right? They're hanging out playing. And before I'm like, "Good morning, guys." They don't even say good morning. They're like, "Daddy, can you make us a smoothie?" I'm like, "Of course. Hi." Okay. uh, Let me get to work.
Really
But
sweet.
now it's cool because now my son will come and he'll help me. He likes joining in and like scooping the powder, throwing in a banana, peeling the banana. He likes to get involved with. He's actually loves cooking.
How old are your kids?
My daughter just turned 7 2 days ago, and my son is 5.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
7 and 5. All right. So let's the 8 ingredients that are in with love. We've got pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, MCT oil, probiotic blend, monk fruit, beef organ complex, grass-fed whey isolate, and vanilla extract.
Mhm.
What I'd read about each one of them. Well, why is each one of them in here? Let's talk about the 8 that you picked.
Yeah, each one individually is a superfood. So, like, beef organs right now, people are realizing, like, oh my gosh, how much vitamins and minerals are in beef organs. Chia seeds, that's a superfood. Pumpkin seeds, that's a superfood. A high quality protein, that's a superfood in and of itself. So we just picked like the best spectrum between animal based and plant based and combine those two together because we believe that like a holistic system is really what's needed for the body.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of the packaging where it talks about it's actually not vegan, and you intentionally say, "Hey, we use grass-fed whey," or I don't know, it's grass-fed whey. Also said something about it's not necessarily organic whey specifically because we can't guarantee that we can always get organic, but what we can guarantee is that the cows are treated well and that they're grass-fed or something to that effect.
Yep, we can't guarantee you organic on our whey product, right? So we are actually offering a hydrolyzed beef version, which will be a non-dairy version, which is actually really
What is
cool.
hydrolyzed beef?
So hydrolyzed beef is a beef protein that they just dehydrate. They took all the water out of it and then put it into a powder form. So it's essentially like powdered steak, right? Like that's if I were to explain it to a 5-year-old, it's powdered steak. Yeah.
And you
But yes,
use that as opposed to using whey isolate?
instead of the whey isolate, because the whey isolate is derived from dairy, and a lot of our customers, their children are dairy sensitive. So we wanted to offer something that didn't have the whey in it.
So let's talk about one of the other ones. Ingredients in here is monk fruit, and I think you're using that as opposed to stevia. Is that right?
Yes, we are.
And why is that? Is there a benefit to monk fruit as opposed? I'm not even sure I'm saying it right. If it's stevia or stevia,
Stevia. Yeah. Um,
stevia. Yeah.
why are we using monk fruit? Monk fruit is a natural sweetener. We Our philosophy is to keep it a little bit sweet but not overly sweet, so we actually didn't need to even use that much monk fruit, and it's just natural. It doesn't spike your glucose like a sugar does, and we wanted it to be quote unquote sugar free. um so that's why we chose that.
What was it like in your kitchen as you're doing this? You and Eric, your co-founder. I don't think he was necessarily in the kitchen with you, but you're sitting there with your kids. You obviously have your daughter you're worried about. How long did like how many iterations? How long did it take you to get to this well formulation?
Yeah, it took me a minute because I started buying the kids versions of this stuff. So like Else we bought, which is like a powdered nutritional supplement for kids. Um, we bought I tried Four Sigmatic, which is like a plant version. Um, and then I
Yeah.
would add
You
other
got Haya
different.
on here, Ollie, Healthy Heights, as well as some of your competitors.
Yeah, so Haya didn't have a powder back then. They just released a green powder, but that's not a smoothie and it doesn't have any protein in it. What I was looking for was a protein base, a fuel source for the children that this could almost be like a meal replacement, right? We can't market it as that, but that's when I was a mad scientist in the kitchen, that was what I was looking for. How can I replace a meal that's just packed with essential everything? And what I ended up finding was all the kids' stuff was trash, full of chemicals, full of fillers, full of natural flavors, full of synthetics. And I threw that all away. They liked it, they drank it, but it just, if you read the ingredient list, it's not good. So what I ended up doing was then going high end and buying adult stuff, and then backing into ratios for kids. So I'd buy really high quality seed probiotics, which is like $80 a month probiotics, and giving that to my kids. I'd buy the protein that I was using at the time was Transparent Labs, which has really high efficacy of like the quality of ingredients that they're putting in. But it's just a protein. So like I was paying $60 a month just for the protein, plus the probiotics, plus the multivitamin. But I was like mixing and incorporating all of this together. Um,
It took you a couple months to get to this point, like,
No, I would say that was probably about a month or 2, probably just over a month in, like, dialing that in, figuring out what worked, what didn't, what tasted good. Because I found some stuff that tasted really good for me, but I would give it to my kids, and they're like, "I don't like this." So, like, okay, the picky eater is still being picky, of course, so it has to taste good. Um, but
tastes even
then
better
one
than what dad'll stand, right? Like,
Yeah,
dad's bar's here, her bar's, or maybe his bar's a little bit higher than either one of the kids.
totally.
Yeah.
So then, but once I cracked the code and it like was clean ingredients, high quality, high efficacy, high bioavailability, and it tasted good, I swear my daughter changed within a matter of weeks. Like within 2 weeks, she was a completely different person. ADHD tendencies went away, insomnia went away. Her palate ended up changing, and she started eating the food at the dinner table. Her sugar cravings went down. It was wild.
And what is it like, you you and your wife, are divorced, and so, like, you're feeding the kids your special blend of With Love in the mornings. Is your wife or your ex-wife, was she also doing it? Like, as you're testing this and you're seeing with your daughter that this stuff's having a positive effect for her, but you don't have her maybe, let's say, 7 days a week, or you don't have her 4 weeks a month, or whatever the split is in terms of custody. Like, she was also on board with it, so that you two were both seeing you're seeing
No.
progress together. No, okay, yeah, that's what I mean.
No.
Are you trying to also
Yeah,
like counterbalance some of what,
yeah.
the kids are eating at your ex-wife's house?
Yeah, we just have different philosophies. Not that one is good or worse. We just live in different worlds, which is why we are also separated, right? Like so we just have different philosophies on what like health and wellness and vitality looks like and feels like. And not saying that one is wrong and one is right. It's just this was what we were doing over here in this household. And that's not to say that probably wasn't the same over in the other household.
Okay. Very polite. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, I asked you about this, is we have a daughter. The first year we had her on what's called GAPS as a diet, which is also heavy protein, uh, no artificial sugars at all, almost limited in terms of natural sugars, fruits, and whatnot, by trying to front load fats, build gut biome health. And we see it in our daughter, even compared to how she looks and acts relative to other kids in daycare. No eczema, no skin rashes, no stuff like behavior issues. Touch wood thus far, mainly because we focus really on trying to get her her gut health set up really well. Like, she didn't have any grains the first year. Now she has some, but like, yeah. I mean, is this something that you see, if you could go back in time before the 9-year-old is born, like, what would you have done from the point, like, maybe you and your, Ash, your new partner, you two have kids together or whatnot. Like, what would you do with a newborn now?
First things first is like breast milk. If you can do that, like just natural mother milk, that would probably be the most important. Once you start introducing new foods for a young child, I would stay away from any type of formula right now. That's off the shelf. Well, you're overseas, and the EU has a lot of better high quality formula
Still
than
the
the
same
US.
premise, though. Yeah, I mean, breast
Yeah,
milk is going to win.
breast milk's going to win hands down. But a lot of parents like supplement after the child's off of the boob into like formula. I would
Well,
just say try to stay away from that as much as possible. Right
we
now, anyway. I think there's things changing in the future. Hopefully, again, knock on wood, it'll have a better product in the future due to FDA regulations being removed, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, just don't go near it. Um, just think about your ancestors and what they were living on from the land. If you can see it and cook it and understand where it came from just by when it's on your plate versus something really processed, like a granola bar or like a squeeze pouch type thing, I just be more conscious of, okay, can we can we determine where this came from by looking at it on our plate?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. The, uh, we've tried to stay off of formula. We now get raw milk again for gut health reasons,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's what our daughter Sophia has at night before she goes to bed. Is she's almost 2 now.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Parents don't realize how sensitive their children are because we've grown up and started to become desensitized due to our environment. Children are so sensitive, and the first thing to go is their gut health. So
And why
anything that
is
you can
that?
do, because it is a filtration system. It's the second brain, right? So it has a ton of nerve endings in it. It is really in tune, and when you're born and young, you don't have the desensitization that you've gone through, right? So your gut is really sensitive. So making sure that you're not, again, like you said, put synthetic sweeteners or high sugar diet, or like, because all of that will just wreak havoc on the gut, which is already at a level 11 on sensitivity.
Is it also due to, yeah, I mean, that the fact that maybe our food isn't as nutrient dense as it used to be? I mean, do you include the multivitamin in there because even if your kids ate a really good diet, they still not going to get as many as many vitamins and nutrients as they need. Like why do you supplement a child?
Yeah. So again, yeah. So our in here in the US, um, our foods that land on our plate are 50, or it's been studied that 50% it has 50% less nutrients than the same exact food did 50 years ago. Coming from the
Soil
same
depletion.
farm,
Yeah.
due to soil and mineral depletion in the soil, which again then affects the cows and the animals that are eating that. So it's just like a slippery slope, right? It just declined over the years. So as Eric and I developed this product, I shared what I was doing. He shared what he was doing, and then we went out and got a pediatrician, nutritionist, uh, one that's a functional medicine, right? That really looks at the entire body and said, I understand you guys want to go with 8 clean whole ingredients, but adding a vitamin panel to this is just really going to take those nutrient levels and increase it. So we fortify those 8 ingredients with a vitamin panel. But here's the thing, not all vitamins are made the same. So there's a gene, the MTHFR gene. And if you take certain vitamins that are not methylated, you're actually toxifying your body with the vitamins that you're taking. So you're actually causing more harm than good. So the vitamins that we introduced to fortify this product are methylated vitamins, which help with this. And the two specific ones are folate, which needs to be a methylfolate, and B vitamins, to making sure that you're not causing more harm than good.
What is what is Eric's role in this? How did you two get connected, and what did he bring to the table as co-founder?
Yeah, so Eric and I, we met 6 years ago now, 5 years ago, probably 6 years ago now. And we actually met at a plant medicine retreat together and created such a great friendship from this retreat. And we have kids around the same age. We're both entrepreneurs. We're both high achievers. We're both on a spiritual path. And we just developed such a good friendship. And for 4 years, 5 years, we would just call each other maybe every couple days, once a week, just checking in. Hey, how you doing? How's the kids? How's your wife? What's going on? How's business? Oh my gosh, no way. Here's I'll connect you to this person to help you out. And we just became like champions of one another. And then fast forward, we shared our own trials and tribulations of being fathers, of trying to heal our children. He experienced some health issues with his kids, to the point where there was mold exposure in the home. His daughter ended up getting really, really sick, eczema, skin, like a lot of toxicity, and it got so bad that he actually had to sell his house. So like I couldn't even imagine that type of dilemma. But after he sold his home, he was able to heal his daughter through different nutrition. So we kind of collaborated on that. His role in the company is now co-founder. He's really good at making connections, bringing the right people in place, being a really good sounding board for to bounce ideas off of, um, and help co-develop products.
Okay. And what are some of the products that you're looking at? You mentioned an adult, yeah, an adult protein powder. Is that what does With Love look like a year from now?
Okay, so I
What are you
mentioned
willing to
an
share?
adult. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm actually really excited about this because the impact that we are going to have with this company just brings me so much excitement. Like I want to do it now, but like we only have so much time and bandwidth and team to get it done. Like how do we get this out now? So our parent product is actually not going to be a protein powder. Our parent product is going to be a nervous system regulation product. It's going to come in a capsule, and it is going to help parents stay calm, cool, and collect without feeling drowsy or groggy or being like a zombie on the couch. Like, cool, great. I'm chill as hell, but I'm not getting anything done today. Like that's not what we want. So this product, which we're going to launch in the summer, is just that. It allows the parent to be calm and regulated, but it's almost like it gives a tiny little bit of stimulant, almost as if you drank like one cup of coffee. So I'm calm, cool, and collect, but I can take action with it. It's like and what that does, people like a lot of the harmony in a home comes from parent regulating the child. The child is looking for the parent to regulate their nervous system. But if the parent is flooded or in a fight or flight or dysregulated, it's just going to amplify what's happening in the home environment. So that's our philosophy.
It's an
And
exciting product. Are you this is going to be like it's almost like a nootropic, or what is this, not a nootropic, maybe the wrong word to put it, but like, I mean, it's gonna be a pill that somebody takes to help regulate their nervous system, correct? Yeah, or that a
yes,
parent would take, but anybody, I assume anybody could take it, but it's gonna be marketed towards parents.
yeah, going to be marketed towards parents to begin with, and then probably expand out from there. But um,
Does this
yeah,
come from your
so
plant medicine journeys?
yes, it does. So the compound that we're using is called Kana. Kanna. It's a South African rhizome. It's the main ingredient. And what this does, this naturally creates harmony inside your body. And I was fortunate enough to find an R&D product um, back in 2019, 2020, and I because I'm also my own little guinea pig. Like I like to try a lot of different things and test the stuff out. And the scientist created this product, and he's like, "Hey, I've got this R&D product. It's for depression and anxiety." And at that time in my life, I was going through a lot of anxiety and bouts of depression. I was like, "Okay, let me try it." And I tried it, and it completely saved my life, actually, because there was so much chaos going on that I was able to at least have some version of myself while so much nonsense was happening around me.
Amazing. Okay,
And
so
then, yeah,
yeah,
and then
please.
fast forward, I reached out to the scientist. I said, "What are you doing with this thing?" Uh, and he's like, "I don't know, nothing." He's like, "I'm a scientist. I just like to create things." And I was like, "Okay, can I license this?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Great, thank you." So we worked out a deal where I get to offer it to the world.
Okay. And he's South
Mhm.
African, or he's American, but he this kinda comes from South Africa?
Kana comes from South Africa. That's where it's native to.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alright, and I'm curious, between Best Self Co, With Love, like, why do you care about what I would call, aspirational products?
Because it's authentic to me. It's it's I had a coach reflect this back to me, and I couldn't quite put language to it until they shared. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you hit the nail on the head." There needs to be an authentic expression of something that I care about, something that has impacted me in a positive way, in order for me to get behind it, to share it, to be an advocate for it, to want others to experience it. And with Best Self, I created a system that helped me do more, achieve more, be more productive, be more positive, create a system to help me get out of my own way. And I wanted to share that. With love, I created something that really brought more harmony to my home, to help my daughter, and I wanted to share that. Every time I tried just making money or building a business because I saw an opportunity or an arbitrage or like, oh, there's a good way and I can be at the forefront of it. It just never worked because it wasn't like being birthed from me.
And is that because you feel like it didn't have you grew tired of it, or you weren't willing to, stick with the grind? And what I mean by that is because like, even if you believe in the product with Best Self, or you believe in the product with Love, like, there's gonna be dips in the entrepreneurial journey where you decide to stick it out, right? Like, that kinda you're gonna go through a valley of despair.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's because if I'm hearing you correctly, it's because you saw the benefits in both the products yourself and said, like, "No, I know if I stick with this from a marketing or from a business standpoint, like, I can bring it to a wider audience," right? But, like, you needed to get through that dip.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say yes, that is one aspect of it as well, and
Okay.
that's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big one because we experienced a lot of dips with love already, but knowing and probably if I didn't know the impact that it had with me personally and the impact that it has had with our customers, you're probably right. It would have been like, oh, market signal's gone, right? Like on to the next thing, or like, oh, there the opportunity is dead, or oh, you know what, it didn't work out. Yeah, probably. It probably wouldn't give me the conviction to keep going.
Yeah. Do you wanna
Mhm.
talk a bit about Best Self as far as how you got involved with that? Like, were you journaling prior to that, and then you came across the business? Like, what was the path into that? You mentioned it briefly that, you saw a lot of benefits from the practices that came into Best Self.
Yeah, so Best Self was a spin-off of another company that Catherine was my business partner back then. We had a home and kitchen goods company selling products on Amazon for home and kitchen stuff. And I was also running and managing a digital marketing consultancy. So I had my consultancy. I was really good at marketing, lead gen. And then I had this e-com thing with Catherine. And in order to like manage all the products or projects, I created my own like structure on like how to manage and map out my day in a journal. And I would like create it every day. Here's half hour segments over here. Here's what I'm grateful for. Here's the big rocks that I need to tackle, and here's the goals that I want to achieve. Every day I would create this. And I pulled it out when I was doing a work session with Catherine. And she's like, we should create that. I was like, okay, maybe. And then she kept asking, we should create that. We should create that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Finally, I was like, okay, if I don't create this with Catherine, I'm never going to create it and offer it to the world. Um, so we ended up creating it, spun a brand around it, launched a Kickstarter. That became really successful. And we ended up selling the home and kitchen company and just
Did you
focusing
shut down
on
the
Best Self.
agency? Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah. Did you? Yeah, and you rolled the agency into BestSelf or shut it down, one of the two. Yeah,
bingo.
yeah. So what does is very interesting. What does a morning look like for you now, given what you learned with Best Self and prior to Best Self, given what you learned in terms of the power of this journaling and sketching out your day? Like when you wake up, you got this 20 to 30 minutes before you come downstairs and your kids are already playing. Like, are you journaling? Like for those 20, what does it look like?
Okay, so there have been so Best Self was 2014,
Yeah.
2015, right? Like that's when we launched. I have
Fatherhood.
lived so many lives between now and then. So many. It feels like hundreds and hundreds of lives. Today, I don't have a journaling practice. Today, I don't have a morning routine. Today, like I am more in flow with the harmony of universe. I am more connected to myself than I have ever been. I am more grounded and rooted into who I am and how I want to show up. Um, and
You
just
don't
like a
feel like you
deep
need those
knowing.
structures.
Yeah, I have just a deep knowing in myself. And if I look backwards, the company Best Self is like you, yeah, it was born from potentially lack and fear and doubt and less than. Um, Today, I have very little of that in my life. If I have one practice that I do consistently without missing it, is one, I make my espresso every morning. So I'm a big espresso person. I don't drink coffee, but like, man, a really high quality, just clean espresso. Oh, brings me so much joy. That and prayer. I pray every day. And like my prayer is probably close to a person's meditation where I spend 15 minutes in just a prayer practice.
You're and in which you're silencing your mind, or what does that? Yeah, prayer for me is I'm actually, let's say, speaking something to God, or like I'm in a conversation. It's and is it, or are you? What is it? What does that 15 minutes look like?
So the 15 minutes is kind of a it's a centering, it's a clearing distraction, it's a getting in communication with the creator, with God, and then cultivating just deep sense of gratitude for what has been, for what is, and for what will come. And then it's also sharing blessings with the people and the world that I care about, or the people that I care about in the world.
Verbally, like telling them that you, or taking your energy for the day and putting it towards things that you view as a blessing to the world. Which way do you mean
Yeah.
it, or both?
I think it's both. I think it's I literally verbally say, please send love and blessings to, and then I like have a laundry list of people that I put on there. I even put my like people who wish me ill will, please send them love and blessings. Like like just be a conduit to just bless other people. So yeah. And but I think as I share it, as I speak it out my mouth, it's also like this channeling of life force energy as well.
Beautiful. And where does that land during your morning with respect to your kids? I'm asking this as one father to the next. Like, how do you, what does this look like? Are you doing this? When do you do this? Yeah. Are you doing it as
I
you're making your espresso or what? Yeah.
normally after my espresso,
Okay.
nothing comes before the espresso. It's a good morning, make the kids the smoothie, and then have my espresso. Yeah. Um,
Yep.
it comes later in the morning. Sometimes the kids will already be at school when I'll do it. If it's the weekend, the kids will be playing in the next room as I'm doing it. It's in the morning, probably before 10 a.m.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
And tell us
It's
what.
what's really cool though is that that Ash, like I'll be so we have altars in our house, both our homes. I've got an altar that I've created in my office in my South Carolina house, and then we have an altar in our rec room, which is like our bonus room here in New Jersey. But we have like a little open floor plan, but the altar, if I'm at the altar downstairs here, and the kids like start coming into their room, it's really cool to see like Ash, like, nope, daddy's praying. Like, let's, and she'll like scoop them up and like bring them out and to, like put them over in the other room to play and this and that. So like, there's no distraction, which is really nice.
Sweet of her. Yeah. Tries
Hmm.
to protect
Yeah.
and protects that space of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. You want to share the story of how you two met and what she's meant to you because she's been a huge part of the transition from Best Self into With Love, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's been a part of a lot of transitions. Um, yeah. How did we meet? So Ash and I met at a retreat. It was a ceremony weekend, and we actually just started out as friends. I was going through a divorce. She was going through a divorce. Um, but there was like a connection there that was like, oh my gosh, I want to like share my support with you. You could share your support with me, and we can I don't know, just like be there for one another. We lived in completely different states, completely across the globe. She lived in Colorado, I lived in New Jersey. And I was like, "Hey, I want to see you again." She's like, "Okay, well, when's the next time you're coming to Colorado?" I was like, "Well, I've got kids and like I've got a couple weeks off here and there, but what if you came out to New Jersey?" She's like, "Okay." I said, "Here's what I want you to do. Send me some dates. Send me a picture of your driver's license that would work for you. So send me the dates that would work for you. Send me a picture of your driver's license." And then the next thing she got was an email notification of like, your flight's been booked. And this like shook her entire world. She's like, "What? No one's ever bought me a flight. No one's ever bought me like dinner. Like what the hell is going on?" So
That's
she's like, "Okay."
chivalrous.
So I bought her a flight to New Jersey, and we ended up just like cultivating a really beautiful connection, friendship that was like built on like respect. And there was like a lot of safety and trust in our relationship early on, which was foreign to me. Um, and it just felt like I want to keep exploring the safety and trust that I felt with Ash. And if that meant doing long distance, cool. I'm open to doing long distance as long as I can keep tugging on this thread of safety and trust. Now, the universe conspired in our favor because shortly after we met, like a couple months after, COVID happened, the world shut down, and no one was going anywhere. So we ended up just actually like living together quote unquote, right? Like we lived together for like 2 to 3 months early on in our relationship. So even though we were long distance, there was like nothing she was missing back in Colorado. So it was actually perfect. And we ended up spending a lot of time just like going on walks and spending time in nature and just being with one another. And it was a really beautiful way. We actually joke like, man, I miss the COVID days. How slow life was, how like peaceful, um, it's funny. Yeah.
Mhm. I think first, I know several people who COVID was one of their best years ever in a weird way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It sounds like you might be in that camp.
Yeah, there was aspects of
I
my
don't know if it's
life.
true.
Yeah, yeah. Brian, you know my story. So COVID was a love hate. I love some aspects, like Ash, loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other aspects, not so much.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but like the relationship between the two of you in terms of then she's come in now. She's been a very loving stepmother. You two split time between South Carolina and New Jersey.
Hmm.
Um, what did it look like for you two as far as yeah coming into partnership so that you felt really safe and seen with her is what I heard you describe. Like, how did she feel coming in as like a stepmom and, well, like she's since I think moved her life out of Colorado, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we
And
live together
her
now.
business was based in Colorado, I think at the time, or she was,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, her family's there. So,
Oh my God. So it was her birthday yesterday, and she was FaceTiming all the people from Colorado and her family and this and that. And the 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 feeling that I had was, oh my gosh, she's so loved. But the other feeling that I had was like, oh my gosh, I am so blessed that this woman chose me over all of these people who love her so much. Like, oh my gosh, I just feel so honored, right? She did leave them for me. And it's just, yeah, there was a ton of gratitude and appreciation yesterday specifically for that.
that's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, I forget the question that you asked.
Yeah,
What was
is more about like how have you two made the partnership work? You're both entrepreneurs. Let me give some
Mhm.
context because you're both entrepreneurs. You have your own
Yes.
separate businesses, as I understood, right?
Yep.
And you come together. I think you both have some degree of time freedom, time and location freedom. Like she was able to make the move.
Mhm.
You were able to pick a date in her calendar that worked for both of you. Like there's a lot of, let's say self-imposed constraints. It's not like you guys have a job. It's not like you have a certain, like you need to be in New Jersey for your kids.
Yes.
You love the South. It's one of the things you and I bonded on when we first met. Um, but like, how have you two made that partnership work? Like, made it work between two entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's been a lot of give and take. There was a time in my career when we were dating. I don't think we were married yet. But like I was without work, and it was Ash who was the breadwinner. You know, so what I had to do then was make concessions. Like, okay, you're actually providing for our family right now, and I need to take the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It was very uncomfortable for me because it was a new position. Um, and now today things are have transitioned where now I'm in the driver's seat and she can kind of take the back seat and I can lead and she can follow. And a lot of that has been born on or born through a lot of communication,
Yeah.
uncomfortable conversations. I think one of the things that I get still squirmy about is when we sit down with the calendar in front of us, because I know it means like adding those constraints that you're saying,
Mhm.
like, okay, we're going to travel this date. We're going to come back here. We have the kids here. The kids don't have school. Okay. That means that, like, okay, who's not going to work so we can watch the kids who is going to work. And there's resistance that I still notice in my system of like actually having that conversation. But as soon
Mhm.
as we get through it, I feel
Mhm.
so much better. So
Hmm.
it's almost like the just getting through the resistance and having the conversation of like uh, the logistics of life and
Yep.
things. It just creates more peace,
Yep. Yeah. Because
even
then
though
you
it's
go,
uncomfortable.
wait, then you go back in a way to kind of loving one another, because you're like, yeah, we got this difficult thing out of the way. Now we know what to expect. The structure's set, and yeah, there's time and space for us to flow into now, subsequent to that.
Yep, absolutely. And it just makes things easier, especially most of it's around the kids, right? If it were just her and I, we probably wouldn't have that much of a structure because we are so um we say we dance very well together. But because of the kids, it adds another element because of the kids that we're raising with co-raising with another household, like it does actually require more thoughtful intention around it.
Yeah, you're in a position as well where you need to be a very good communicator, times two, right? Not only with Ash, but also with your ex.
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and so like, cool, I got the calendar set up over here with Ash. Now I'm gonna go over here to my ex-wife and like get this squared away. And you need to be the bridge between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also
Yeah.
triple check it with the kids and their calendars, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. It's like, okay, you have a vacation and a holiday and a family thing over there. Okay, how does that coincide with our schedule over here? Yeah, yeah, it's a lot, and it just comes with the territory.
Do you uh, do you do you wish that everyone in the world would do a plant medicine journey? Or do
Hmm.
you wish not everyone in the world, like, but like, is there a certain, it's kind of out of the left field, but like as a like a rite of passage in a way that, I mean, a lot of, I think the transition that you've gone through in the past 5 years has been one of inner work that is then reflected in your outer work. And some of what you're doing with love is designed to set people up for success, for those who are not in a position where they're feeling very good. Would you recommend plant medicine? Like, what do you tell people? You and I've talked a lot about plant medicine. What do you tell people that um yeah, that they're hurting, let's say, right? Like,
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, you what do you what like, is where does plant medicine fit into the medicine cabinet in Allen's mind?
I love that question. I love how you phrase that.
It just took me a while to get there.
No, I love it. Okay, so man, we could have a whole show on this. Let me try to distill it down. I don't. The short answer is I don't think everyone should participate in a ceremony. I just don't. There are prerequisites beforehand. Like, do you talk to a coach? Do you go to therapy? Do you journal? Do you like are you inquisitive about yourself, right? Or are you taking SSRIs because you're uncomfortable? And like that's your way to deal with the things that are happening in your life to numb out. Are you an addict? I don't recommend you going to a plant ceremony if you're an addict, right? Like the let's go downstream a little bit to see okay what sort of foundational pieces do you have in place. Are you comfortable exploring your inner psyche? So that's the short answer. The long answer is I see plant medicine as or ceremony work as a spectrum. A lot of people can talk about ayahuasca going to which is very spirit. I do not recommend people to jump into spirit right out the gate. If anything, they actually need to be more embodied and understand what it feels like to be inside their heart, inside of their body before continuing to escape, right? It's because you are blasted off.
Well
So
said.
there's other modalities that will actually help you and other types of ceremonies that will bring you into your body that are softer, that are gentler. Um, heart openers, assisted MDMA type therapies. There's ketamine, which most ketamine, now this is again nuance, right? Most ketamine will blast you off. If you do a certain protocol with ketamine, it'll actually help embody you. But people don't know this. They just think they just lump ketamine into a subgroup and just say, okay, well, a doctor is going to do this. Um, I'm just now going to get an IV 400 milligrams of ketamine and like now I'm fixed. It's like, okay. Where's your integration practice? Who's supporting you? How often are you talking? Like, because it's going to bring up stuff, but how are you going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again? Right.
Amen. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's yes, it's helpful for the people who are ready and willing. Not helpful for those who want to stay asleep.
And
It
what
can
was
actually
your,
be it can actually be pretty damaging for people if they're not ready for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What was your journey into that world like? Was this something that were you into, I don't know, plant ceremonies prior to Best Self? Was this something that you got into as you were leaving Best Self, as your marriage was, and, as you were going through a divorce? Like, how did you wind up on that path?
Yeah, I have always been a seeker. I've always have been curious. I've always been spiritually curious as well. Brought up Catholic, went to Catholic school, knew that something just wasn't fitting right with me at a early age, like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I'm like, I don't know about this, man. Then I started like studying Buddhists and Shaolin monks, and then got into like Rastafarianism. And I would consider myself like a Rastafari. And then I got into
Sorry, I
seriously,
just can't see it with you, but like. Go
right.
ahead. Yeah, you
I
can
I
consider
used
yourself a
I used to have
Rastafari for a
dreadlocks.
second. I didn't even know that was a word, but yeah, thank you. Whenever you asked me, what do you call a Rastafarian? I guess you call him a Rastafari as a singular. Go ahead.
Rastafari, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I had full on dreadlocks.
Did you?
Yes. And then I would consider myself today to be a Taoist, someone who is part of the universe and the universe simultaneously. And I think that's the best philosophy that I've found and modality that feels in harmony with who I am today.
Hmm.
Um, but through
And how do you handle that with your kids? Have they gotten to the
uh,
tricky questions?
no, tricky questions. We talk about God. We talk about the universe. We talk about the stars. We talk about the planet. We talk about nature. We just kind of bring it up in conversation, but it's all, I would say it's based around presence. How can you be as present as possible with the kids? And that's been my biggest gift that the children have given me is true presence, where you can bring your full self to it. Not that you're there and then like your brain's thinking about something else and you're like half engaged, right? Or you're distracted, or you get squirrel brain, right? Like, no, I am here, right? Bringing your full self to it. That's been the biggest gift. And then my journey, I was actually scared of plant medicine when I was running Best Self. I started hearing about it. Just started hearing about journeys and ayahuasca and this and that, and I was scared. To be honest, I actually lived in Peru for a little bit. Was able to like was offered to sit, and I was like, nope, too scared. I don't know. I don't know about that. And
Well, you might have been skeptical. I mean, there's a fair amount of people who, as you're talking about, go to Peru that don't have the container
I
and are
and
ready for it, let's say,
I
right?
didn't
And you see them,
come
and
back a
you're
little
like,
fractured.
"Whoa." Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You're like, "It's not something I necessarily wanna put myself through." Yeah,
Yeah, no. Um,
but you're living in Peru.
Yeah. So then I actually had a business partner attend a ceremony, and again, I was big into personal development. I hired coaches and went to seminars and masterminds and journaled a ton and like helped me had therapists and was on like fringe stuff, right? Like tapping and stuff like that. Um, doing breath work and that sort of thing. And
All stuff I've gone down the path of too. Yeah.
yeah. And finally, I had a business partner who was like, "Hey, I found a thing. It's not like ayahuasca. It's super gentle. It's really great. It's like, it is like the fastest personal development tool in the world. And the next one has a bunch of people that you know who are attending it. So it's like, okay, no stranger danger, right? For me, it's like I safety in numbers, and it's soft, it's gentle, and you're also telling me that it's like the rocket fuel for personal development. Okay, like
Sign
it
me up.
just had to be the time, the way that it was phrased, who was involved, like the planets just had to align for it. Yeah,
And that was a heart
and
opener ceremony.
it was a heart opener ceremony. Yes.
And what
hmm
does that mean for people who don't know that phrase?
Um, it is a way to tap into your feeling states that might have been elusive to you. And I would say the word that to describe it is psychosomatic. So it's not psychedelic, right? But it is a mind altering somatic body and feeling state. Um, and it is altering, but it is soft and gentle. You have all of your faculties. It's like choose your own adventure. You're there, you're engaged, you're an active participant, and you're not just along for a ride.
But is this facilitated through breath work, or is this facilitated through, if I showed up to a heart opener ceremony, am I going to take a certain substance? Like, what is it? What am I going to do?
Yeah. So
Am I gonna shake around? Like, is it like, I'm gonna get into my body, I'm gonna move around, ecstatic dance, like shake it out, dragon's breath. Like, what do we?
I'm, I mean, you could do that if you want. If that felt good to you, I like. All right, if I was facilitating someone and like, I want to breathe like that, I'll be like, great, go and breathe like that. Like, cool. If that's how what you want. Like, it truly is a choose your own adventure, depending on the facilitator. But one, if you're interested in this, like, do your research on your facilitator. How long have they been around? What sort of safety protocols do they put in place? Like, what is their intake process? Do
Bingo.
they check? Yeah, do they check like if you're on contraindicating supplements or medication? Like, do they where how high do they prioritize safety? Right,
Mhm.
and like that's the key. Like, let's keep everyone safe first and foremost. And then for like a heart ceremony, I don't know what like you could shake around, you could move, you could be in your body, like it you're not like a lunatic, right? But like, oh my God, just like being in your body and
Mhm.
shaking,
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, like just to feel your body and your heart, like, oh my gosh, there you are. I've missed you. Like, it's been here the whole time. Like, right? It's just, there it is. Like that's the experience that I would like akin to it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you said, it ties in with the heart opener ceremony. It also ties in with some of the personal development work you've done prior to this call, or this interview. You had made a comment. I don't have the screen in front of me exactly, so I'm going to paraphrase, but it was about using ChatGPT as a therapist, right? So now,
Oh.
given all
Mhm.
that you've learned, all that you've done, um, both externally and internally, are you using AI, ChatGPT, or some other LLM, giving it a lot of information about yourself, giving it things like your human design profile, telling it about your, I don't know, like your notes from your past coaching or from your past psychotherapy work. Like, what are you using now? Are you, because I think you had talked about you are using AI for some of this
Mhm.
ongoing therapy work. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
I am.
personal development. I don't even want to call it therapy work. It's just like insights about yourself in a weird way, like a mirror back.
Yeah, I that I would say it's more personal development than it is therapy.
Yeah.
It's more uh, 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 it's more like a coach. That's the best way to describe it. So how am I using it? I mostly use ChatGPT. There's some other tools that I use depending on like what I'm using it for, but mostly ChatGPT. And so today, like I'll give you a real life example of what I'm using right now. I have a coach. His name is Heath. He works on like blind spots and patterns and like shaking out stagnant energy as it relates to an owner operator of a company, as it relates to the business. So essentially, like clearing all the debris so you can move fast and take action in a way that's in alignment and authentic to you and like with your full energy being, right? The, Heath helps he provides homework after every call to answer questions, to journal on. And what I will do is I'll take his homework and I will literally pen and paper write it out. I still find that to be the best way to like channel, get out of your head, to have stream of consciousness is still pen and paper.
No
But then what
screens.
I'll do, yeah, and but then what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it. I'll upload Heath's homework. I'll upload my answers, and then ChatGPT will be like, it'll synthesize it and be like, wow, this is great work. Do you want me to create a worksheet for you to go deeper? Do you want me to ask you questions on certain topics? Do you want to explore something? And you could say like, be a coach and help me like uncover a little bit more, or give me some prompts that I'm not thinking about, or help me dig a little bit deeper, or what are some steps that I can take based on what I just gave you that'll help me like break through a quote unquote block, right?
Are
So
you
that's
doing this? Sorry, are you doing this inside of a like a private GPT or a custom GPT, a project inside of your own Chat GPT instance? And what I mean by that is that, let's say you take the homework from Heath, you plug it into a private GPT.
Mhm.
Now, it might have seen that over the past, let's say you've been using ChatGPT for the past year, you're
Yep.
asking certain questions or certain follow ons to other questions, and it has learned a bit about you. And then, based on your homework with Heath, it's bringing in some of what it's learned about you from the past year in order to say, hey, Alan, I think that, and it doesn't come out necessarily and say this, but it's like it'll be like 8 months ago you were asking about this thing related to your business or related to blind spots. Um, are you then like is it are you asking it to also go back and look at um, everything it knows about you, or is it limited to just strictly what's in that PDF or what Heath has covered in his coaching?
What I appreciate about ChatGPT is that the fact that it can go back into the database. It I use it as a way to retrieve as well. So it can
Okay.
kind of be an external brain.
Hmm.
That's the way that I use it. I try not to keep it in a silo because then um like, oh, only focus on this prompt, only focus on this homework, only focus on this um I
Project,
feel
let's
like
say. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like see, but that's my own philosophy on why I like to use it is because oh my god, ChatGPT knows me so well. Like it's going to be the thing that I go to like either get answers or uncover some stuff or work on the business or whatever it is because it has this breadth of data already. And I, how we live in a world of like privacy and like
Hmm.
you have like DuckDuckGo and VPNs and like this and that. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I want the algorithm to feed me the things that I like.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want the algorithm to show me stuff that I don't like. Like, actually learn me. Please learn me so I can get the most out of this. Don't waste my time.
Hmm.
Just figure out what I like, feed it back to me. That great. That you just did your job. I now yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Well, is it, but so then to go a step further on that, are you then going to take to ChatGPT, let's say, voice notes or notes that you've kept for yourself let's say your old journals, right? And scanned those and gotten them into ChatGPT for something like, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, or, you started Best Self in 2014. So we're talking 11 years ago,
Mhm.
10 or 11 years ago, excuse me. I might be wrong on the
Mhm.
dates, but like you go back all the way and be like, hey, I have these journals that like physical journals.
And I do
They're in
have
your,
all of them.
they're in
Mhm.
your handwriting. I don't know if it's legible and can be scanned in, but like you take that stuff and feed it into ChatGPT as well. Like I don't, are you doing something like that?
I am not doing that. I actually have all of my, paper journals in a tub in my basement on a shelf.
Okay.
So, like, I
Don't
do
look at
have the
them.
dat I don't look at them, but they're there. I don't think I have the use case yet of, like, why I should do that. Like, w unless someone tells me, like, unless someone gives me, like, "Hey, I'm using it for X, Y, and Z, and here's how go and scan everything else in, and then you'll get this outcome." Right
Yeah.
now, I don't see the benefit of doing that, but until someone tells me, like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to happen,"
Yeah.
then they're probably just gonna sit on the shelf.
Yeah. So that's what I think what you touched on there, which is that as long as they're going to sit on the shelf until you're willing to do the effort of like scanning them in or do somebody has to convince you that like going from analog to digital is worth it, right? That
Yes.
there's some
Mhm.
insight that they got from it. Because I
Mhm.
think that in my experience, in this particular area, I will put in there PDFs or things that are easy to just kind of like dump in. But if I
Mhm.
have to go dig around in analog stuff, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to basically go off my own memory and say, here's my quick summary of what happened in 2014. And rather
Mhm.
than let the damn thing read it, right? Like I would rather have it read it and get the whole use its infinite memory to actually
Mhm.
understand all of what's my paragraph explanation is trying to encapsulate.
Mhm.
But I don't want to go scan it all in right now. Like, or I don't even know how to go do it. Like, I wouldn't know who to find who's going to sit there with the scanner and like take every page out of your journal and try to, is that a T or an I? And like, they don't even know what your handwriting looks like. Let's say, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
tangent.
I think I'm no, but I think I'm with you. I'd rather just summarize this thing real quick
Yeah,
because
yeah,
but it's also like opportunity cost.
bingo.
I don't want to. That's not really how I want to spend my life right now. Is like go
Yeah,
through
but
all
that's
that.
Well, that's the thing. Exactly. It's opportunity cost. The same way that you're talking about, like you're not doing you don't have a fixed morning routine beyond the espresso and the 15 minutes of prayer and sitting with yourself in meditation, because you don't necessarily need it. Like you did it, you got what you needed out of it. Same way you do whether it's breath work or some other modality, and then you learn what you
Mhm.
needed to, and then you're ready to move on, and you don't need to keep cycling back to it all the time, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. This has been super interesting. If people they want to buy some they want to buy some
Can I share one
supplements.
other thing
Please.
before
Yeah,
we
go ahead,
jump to
please.
this?
Yes.
Do we have
Yeah, we
because
got
I
time.
do use ChatGPT for something actually really cool,
Tell me.
which is and I just started it this year, and it's kind of like bridging the gap between like manifestation, visualization, and meditation. It's um, I ended up writing out everything that I wanted to do in 3 years. So January 1st, 2028, and I did like health, family, philanthropy. A lot of it's actually philanthropy, um, work, business, friendships, relationship. I listed it all out, just bullet points in a Apple Note, and then I uploaded that to ChatGPT, and I said, create a narrative, a story based on everything that I just gave you, and make it as detailed as possible. And it created this beautiful narrative of like the life of Allen Kennedy Brouwer, January 1st, 2028. And it's just like, whoa, this beautiful picture between the relationship that I have with Ash and my kids, and the way that we're giving back to the world, and the things that we're building, and the communities that we're building. And it was just like beautifully woven and written, and like it talked about the landscape and birds flying overhead and the ocean, and like what I took that story, and then I uploaded it into 11 labs to give me a British woman now narrating it. And it just, and I like plug that into my headphones or while I'm driving every once in a while or while I'm like stretching at the gym. And I'm just like immersed into this beautiful world of the future self that I like desire to create. And that's been a really cool play with AI.
It's pretty amazing. I do remember you sharing this prior to the podcast. Are you listening to this and you're actually seeing it come true in your life? What I mean by that is like, is it a bit of, um, we all love narratives, right? Like we're drawn to narratives as humans. So you have this narrative, you love the narrative, you're listening to it. Do you find that you're actually manifesting it, um, as a result of listening to it? Like you go back, like, let's say like you listen to it in April and now in September later on, and you go, wow, in the past 4 or 5 months, I made more of this story come true or something. Like, I don't know, like, do you go back and listen to it and go, if it was January when you first had the British woman read this to you, although it's an AI
Yeah.
voice, but like, read this to you.
Yeah.
And now it's April and you're like, wow, I already like 20% of this already, I'm already 20% there, whatever. I don't know how you measure it, but like you think about, yeah, are you
It's
manifesting?
uh it's anchoring in the feeling state of that future version, and the feeling state creates it in the now moment. So then I'm able to see the places where I actually already have everything that is being shared with me from a future place.
That's badass. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Ash doing some of this as well?
Ash. I created one for Ash. I think she listened to it twice.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's like, that's
uh,
cool. I'm like, hey, I'm glad because she strikes me, those who don't listen and don't know her, she strikes me as like much more embodied and basically going to basically go on how it feels.
yeah.
She's going to be like, why do you need this? Like, why do you need this machine? Like, oh, you get this AI contraption that hooks up to another AI that reads this thing back to you in a British voice because and they're like, yeah, but don't you see? Like, it makes me feel this particular way. And she's like, yeah, I understand what you're trying to get to. My wife says stuff like this to me. She's like, he was like so into
Just do
this.
it.
Yeah. She's like, what? Yeah. He's like, you're just chasing this feeling. I'm like, I know. But don't you understand? I had like 16 steps to get there, and it's amazing. And I really like the steps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. Yes. We
Yeah.
create we're funny creatures, aren't we?
I think it also is like there's something in the male psyche or the entrepreneur. It's like, dude, I want to it's got to be this elaborate kind of, not like elaborate, but it needs to be like so nuanced and complex. And the woman sometimes just like, yeah, I just feel I can
Mhm.
just sit with it and identify it and says it in a beautiful way. It doesn't need, all the scaffolding that I can put around it. That sounds like you can as well.
Yeah, I think, the beauty between Ash and my relationship, she taught me how to be present, and I taught her how to dream.
Mm,
Um,
it's
and
beautiful.
both were scary places for us. So the present moment was actually really scary for me for a lot of my life. So I escaped in dreaming, and dreaming for her was a scary place for her. So she just anchored and rooted into the present moment because it was here and now, and she could like be with it. So we actually created a lot of safety in each other for us to explore those other areas.
Super nice. Yeah. And like a
Mhm.
polarity too, right? Like you're bringing each other. Yeah. Did you do strategic coach?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So you know
Mhm.
that the Dan Sullivan question that like if you and I were sitting here 3 years from now, what needs to have happened in your life for you to feel complete or satisfied with your progress?
Mhm.
And because that sounds a bit like the question that you were posing to ChatGPT, although it's not written in such a way. Is it
Mm.
similar?
Yeah, I would say it's similar, even though it's not written exactly like that. I would say it's okay. This is this is really interesting because the strategic coach question is like in order to feel satisfied.
Hmm.
I would actually challenge that of like I actually feel satisfied right now. I actually feel super blessed. I feel like I have everything that I that I could ever imagine and dream of. Health, vitality, children, wealth, a beautiful divine union with my wife, like peer groups. Like I'm so blessed. A lot of what I want to do and experience in the world is just to actually give more of that back. Give what I've experienced as a way to have other people experience it. And actually a lot of my narrative in the future is that it's not coming from a place of I need to be satisfied because or I
in
will
order
only be
to.
satisfied, yeah, because of this. It's I feel so satisfied now. Like imagine the even more satis, satisfaction. What is it? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even more. Yeah, how much more of a
But
gift,
even more
right?
satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah, even more satisfied. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not coming from a place of lack, actually. The come from is not from a place of needing to or filling a hole or filling a void. It's coming from it's a different come from.
Do you think it's also mm, partially your age? And what I mean by that is, yeah, age or season of life where you're now a father, you've taken some lumps like up and down, and you've got like through this personal, you're remarried, like um you're not really questioning who you are in the world, like maybe you
Mhm,
were in your 20s or early 30s or whatnot, right? Like, do you think it's a
mhm.
season of life?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
phrase that well, but what I was trying to get at is like there's often these charts I think of that like contentment with one's life just tends to like go up, even if it does this trending up, even if your life hasn't turned out as you would have imagined or desired at your 20s. And I've often looked at that, thought, yeah, is that basically like, you know, let's call it survivorship bias, like where you're just like, well, I made it through. Like this is like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm down a rabbit hole,
uh,
not making sense. Can you
no,
can
no,
you make
no.
some can you make some of this word salad, Alan, please?
Yeah. It sounds to me like there's maturity there. You know, that's what I hear when you share that. It just feels like that there's a maturity that
Mm.
comes with age, and through that maturity comes uh, a slowing down or like an okay with beingness, right? Like I'm okay with just being. Like I don't have to do and go and do, like there's can be less of that and more just being with what is. But I think the
I get
through
it.
line is maturity.
Well, I do want to ask one more question about doing, even though I think it's lovely what you just said. So I'm going to contradict what you just said, which is on the doing side. What does philanthropy look like for you in 2028?
Mm, this is probably my favorite question of the whole show. So thank you
Oh
for
yeah,
asking it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
Because I think that's if I aspire to be anything, it would be a philanthropist.
Who is
Um,
somebody that you think is doing philanthropy well? Like, I don't know.
you know what? The best philanthropists are the ones that don't get any recognition from it, right?
So your
That's
name is
not
not going to be on the side of Rutgers University on the gym.
that's not what I want. That's not the desire. No,
Okay.
definitely not. Um, definitely not.
Oh, what does
No, I'm
philanthropy look like for you in 2028,
okay.
though?
It would be there would be a lot of community involved. There would be retreat centers around the globe that focus on health and wellness, um, spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. There would be schools dedicated to kids for um, more emotional rather than like knowledge. Um, teaching how to be a human. Right. I think we've lost how to be a human. And if we could just remember how powerful we are and how magical we are, and and how much in tune with nature and how sensitive we actually are, if we give the children an opportunity to explore that, or a platform, or a place to have freedom with boundaries, right? Oh man, imagine the just like the impact and the ripple that that could have. And then yeah, pseudo churches, right? Church is a weird word because there's a lot of context to it, but like just a place. I say pseudo church because it's just a place where people can gather to have a common connection to God or spirit or the universe or whoever they want. It's kind of agnostic, but just like a place for connection.
Whether you're a Rastafarian or a Taoist,
Or both.
or both. Yeah, I do remember something you posted on Facebook about that you were very happy with conscious parenting and some of the families you had come across through the conscious parenting movement. Is that in what does it look like for your kids now? Are you, yeah, where are you finding these other parents that are into the conscious parenting movement? Are they in New
Mm,
Jersey, like nearby, or is this kind of, yeah, I'm watching your face. Like, how do you
yeah,
come across them, or where do you find them?
yeah. So there's a reason that Ash and I bought a home in Charleston, South Carolina, because it felt more family focused there.
Hmm.
There's also nature, warmer weather. You can spend time outside. It feels very more communal. New Jersey is not that. New Jersey feels very isolated and sheltered. And unless you have like a family, a big family that you go to and congregate with every 2 times a week
Sunday.
or every
Yeah.
Sunday for dinner, like if you don't have that, there's not really a place for us to go, which is the reason why I'm like, how do we build family centers and community centers? And like people are starving for it. I can feel it, but they don't know how to build it, right? They don't know where to start or where to go. So how can we build a place for them? Um, what I've found is that through different groups and different communities that we either built or became a part of, mostly in like the spiritual world, um, is we found like-minded individuals who are in touch with like, hey, here's how I want to raise my kids. I want them to be emotionally resilient. I want them to be comfortable in their body. I want them to be, using their imagination more than being stuck in front of a screen, right? But you find some parents or communities that have alignment with who you are, and more times than not, they'll have kids, and then you can bring them together, right? And that's how you find those types of communities.
And are you doing that in person in Charleston more so than you're doing it in New Jersey?
We actually do both. I find so we've built communities kind of all over the place.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's both. I find that South Carolina right now, um, I just feel better being down there, and I
Hmm.
think because I feel better being down there, it just makes it a lot easier.
Hmm. Yeah, it's your emotional regulation, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah, South Carolina's a
Hmm.
big bill. Charleston is at
Yeah.
least. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean it's a bad
Hmm.
analogy, but I think you got where I was going with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. 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 No, it's it's like my Mai Tai on the beach, right? Like that's like I step off the plane and walk out the doors of the airport. I'm like, oh, this is heaven on earth. I love it here.
Palmetto State, I'm back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Carolina. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, let's end on that note.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, People who want to learn more about you, learn more about With Love, what should they do? Where should they go? Who should they follow? Tell me.
I think if you want to learn more about With Love, which is like parenting and kids health and family nutrition, that's follow us on Instagram at startwithlove.us. And if you want to see my journey of building the company and raising kids and being a conscious parent, you can follow me on Instagram, and it's Allen K. Brouwer.
Kennedy is what the K stands for.
Yes.
Love that. And you're Allen Brouwer the fourth.
I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that as
I
well. You're
am.
one of the few people I know who's like, yeah, has well, there's a lot of people in the South I know, but they're not the fourth, like that's like 3 generations committed to keeping it going. Is your son
Totally.
the fifth?
My son is not the fifth. My son is not the fifth, but if Ash and I have our own child,
Mhm.
Alan will be sprinkled in there somewhere because Ash found out that the fifth is actually the Great. So Alexander the Great was actually Alexander the Fifth. And like that, like, okay, we made it to
Gotta give him the
4. Like,
shot.
let's
Yeah.
keep going. Let's just give it a shot. Right. So maybe the middle name will be Alan.
I love it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed the combo.
Hi again, folks. If you enjoyed the show, I've got a favor to ask. Would you mind leaving a positive review on iTunes, Spotify, or whichever platform you've been listening to this podcast on? Every one of those helps. If you didn't like the show or if you've got feedback about it, let me know via the contact form on spreadgreatideas.org. I'd like to hear from you as far as what can be done to improve. So again, if you enjoyed the show, then please help out by spreading the word. And if you didn't, let me know how to improve it. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I hope you'll check out the next one. Thank you.